Alright guys, back here with more Wrestlemania stuff. The last thing I've been waiting on to get this done and get it in the house is fixing up the control panel. Now there is no current provider of a reproduction control panel overlay for Wrestlemania. Now if you refer to my first video, you'll see how bad it was and there was no way to restore it with the way that it was. So what I have to do, I took it to a local place here and they are going to scan it, and they guaranteed me that they can restore it back to full factory quality, well, relatively simply. But it's going to take 3 weeks. Now this is about a week ago, so there's 2 more weeks I have to wait for this new control panel overlay. But these people are so good at what they do. There's a 3-week backlog on work because they pretty much get all the business of the city. So they guarantee me they can reproduce the control panel overlay back to factory conditions. So I'm waiting on that. But in the meantime, I went ahead and got some new Midway Signs printed up, and these are laminated vinyl decals that look just dead on balls accurate with the original side. Now the reason I went ahead and had these printed up is because this side here is pretty much in fantastic shape. There's not really any reason to put one of these on there, but I want to do it anyway to try and preserve what's underneath here. Because it costs the same whether I have one printed up or 2, because if I have a pair printed up, they offer a discount, so it's kind of like the more you order, the less it is. So I end up paying the same for 2 if I just get one. So I went ahead and had 2 printed up, and I'm not going to be able to sell just one, so I'm going to go ahead and put a new one on both sides. And these are laminated, and as you can see, they look pretty damn good. So I've been waiting on these to get printed up. It took about a week for me to actually get these. Once I went to the shop, ordered them, and they finally called me and said they were ready. It took about a week. So I'm going to put a new one on both sides and then clean the inside out. This side over here, you can see right here where I tried to touch it up, right there. And down here, it looks like someone hit this thing with a hammer or something, but I'm not going to try and fill that in with anything. I'm just going to put the decal on over it. I don't really care. So this side had a big scratch right here, and I tried to touch it up, but it didn't come out too well. So I'm going to put a new decal on both sides of the control panel. But the artwork turned out beautiful. The side art on this cabinet is flawless, except for right here. I'm not really too worried about that. It's not going to be that big a deal. This side is going to be facing the Killer Instinct 2, so no one's even going to see it. But for all intents and purposes, if you look at it, it's in phenomenal shape. No dings or gouges or anything like that. It's really, really awesome shape. I've got it all cleaned up and touched up. Originally, right here, there was chunks of wood gouged out. I found some paint that matches. You can see it matches pretty damn good. Matched it up, and you can see how easy it'd be to just gloss over it unless you knew it was there. You probably wouldn't even notice it. I mean, you can look at anyway. So the other side's just as good. I still need to take the monitor out and take the monitor bolts out, clean those up because they're still rusty. But that'll be done here momentarily. It really is in phenomenal shape. I don't know what else to say about it. You can see where I tried to touch it up here, but couldn't find a color to match anyway, but it's close enough. Again, see, if you look at it, unless you knew those were there, it's kind of hard to even see them. So the rest of it is in great shape. So I'm really surprised and amazed at how good a shape this whole cabinet's in. So what I need to do is get these control panel decals on, get the monitor out, take the bolts out, clean the bolts up, put the brackets back in, and I'll leave the monitor out, of course. What I'm going to end up doing is because I have that MacVision in the MK1, 2, and 3, the MacVision that's in my main cabinet, I'm going to end up putting it in here. That's what's going to end up being in here. So stay tuned for that. So I just need to get the control panel decals on, wait for my CPO to get done, and the restoration will be complete. So when you tune in next time for the 3rd video in this series of 3 on this Wrestlemania restoration, it will be 100% completely done. But I wanted to talk about these control panel sides before I brought it in the house. I'm going to get these new decals on here, show them off, and that'll be it for this part 2. Part 3 will be with the cabinet inside the house, fully restored, 100% working with a new control panel overlay and all done. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to pause here for a second, get these decals on, and show you how those turned out. And back here with the decals on the sides of the control panel. I mean, if you can look at them, you can see how glossy they are and how fantastic they look. These are the decals I had printed up. They look just awesome. So I got the new decals on each side. There's one. Here is the other. And I gotta say, looks fantastic. So those are done, and I also took the bolts out, cleaned them up, sanded them down, and repainted them. So the corrosion has gone off of the monitor bracket mounting bolts on both sides. The inside of the cabinet's cleaned up. It's ready to come in the house. So I'll bring it inside. Once I get the MacVision out of the main cabinet, I'll throw it in here, get everything back together, and I'm just waiting on a control panel overlay. So that'll be a part 3, so stay tuned.